Mark hit me up. He said, is there a bigger low point in the history of this show than the food poisoning incident in the days following Jacksonville? P.S. I know you didn't intend for your telling of the story to be as funny as it was, but it was. No, it wasn't, Mark. That's propaganda. That's misremembering history. This is a disastrous story. This is the low point in the history of this show. And I've worn a clown nose multiple times on air, but this was a different level. So last year, we were in Jacksonville for Florida versus Georgia. And I got food poisoning. So we never identified the culprit. We narrowed it down to one of two things. Either it was Chili's the night before, because I flew into Jacksonville and I door-dashed Chili's. Sue me. It's one of the finer establishments in Jacksonville, they told me. So I ate that, no problem. I go to bed, I wake up, we go to the stadium, and then I eat at halftime with Ryan Leaf, no less, name dropping. I mentioned that because Leaf may very well have been the guy who poisoned me. I can't rule him out, is all I'm saying. And so it was either Chili's or the halftime snacks there in Jacksonville, but one way or the other, I got food poisoning like you wouldn't believe, but it happened. And what stands out among a few things is how quickly it set in. If you've ever gotten food poisoning, you know what I'm talking about. So the game ends. I'm okay. The game ends. I do some post-game stuff. I go to press conferences. Georgia won because, of course, they did. And we did some post-game stuff for CBS because we had an activation there that day, which is where a client pays and CBS comes in and builds this big set like the game day set. And then you got a big desk there. Emily Proud was there. We had a bunch of staff there. So we get done with all that. They're doing the loadout, which is just when they load up the equipment, and I'm waiting for an Uber ride or something like that. And then I realize something's wrong. Something's very, very wrong. So I disappear down the way, down a tunnel. Fortunately, no fans still in the stadium. And I had to pull the old reversal, the old upheaval. I threw up in the bathroom once. I had to go back in there 5 minutes later, twice. This is when I know it's deteriorating rapidly. And then I hear from Gelby, car's here. No, we're 5 or 10 minutes away. Hotel's 5 or 10 minutes away. So I think I'm timing my intervals up. And I think if I just puked, I can make it to the hotel. That was a theory, as it turns out, that was not founded in totally sound logic. Because we got about 4 minutes from the hotel. They gave me the front seat. And I told Gelby, pull the e-brake. We got to stop. Gelby was driving. Proud was in the back seat. Coach Quinn was in the back seat. None of these people have ever witnessed me throw up. And I have to jump out of the car, and on a Jacksonville sidewalk, boom, there's number 3. And the worst part of it all was a Georgia fan walks by, does not break stride, and just gives me a token go dogs. He didn't bark, so we do have that going for us, but he gives me a go dogs. So I get back in the car. No one wants to admit how heinous what they just witnessed is, because when I throw up, it's very violent. A scream. It wreaks havoc on the vocal cords. More on that in a second. I get to the hotel. We are 3 pukes down. Another 14 occur throughout the rest of the night. Now, after the first few, if you know anything about food poisoning, nothing's coming up. Nothing whatsoever. It's just basically the lining of your stomach at that point, and it is tough. But you cannot keep anything down. You can't even chew on an ice cube without it coming up. And Proud and Coach Quinn went and got me some Gatorade, and they got me some ginger ale, and it just all ended up in the sink, not because I poured it there. I think I've been pretty clear. And so I'm badly dehydrated, laying on the ground, and then the full body muscle cramps start. Now this was the second worst part of food poisoning, because what you end up having is a pain that for just a second makes you say, this could be it. This really could be it. There's no sign that this is going to stop. Everything is tied up in a cramp. Your abdomen, like your underarm, your legs, it's terrible. So you have to crawl to the shower, turn on the hot water as hot as it'll go, and you let the hot water run all over you as you're laying in the shower till it loosens your muscles up. That's the only recourse you have. So I finally see the sunrise the next morning, and it has stopped. It has stopped, but I'm terrified to drink anything. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is when you realize, because of the violent nature that I throw up in, which just basically is me yelling at the top of my lungs, it's on God. It's not on me. I was created this way. I have ripped my vocal cords. I can't talk. I cannot talk. I have no interest in talking, but I can't talk. Not only am I uncertain enough about my status to miss my flight, but it wouldn't have mattered if I made my flight because I can't talk. So I stay in Jacksonville an extra day. We miss the Sunday night show entirely, first time ever, only time ever. I fly back Monday, and I still can't talk. Nothing is coming out. We have to cancel the Tuesday show as well. The only two shows we've ever canceled. Colin, we started the show in March of 2020. We've canceled two shows, and that was the reason. Ripped vocal cords from food poisoning. And then Thursday, I could string sentences together enough where we did like an abbreviated show. I don't even know where we went the next week. But yeah, you want to talk about a low point in the history of the show. Yes, that was the low point in the history of the show. It was terrible. It was terrible. I don't have many enemies, but I would not wish it on any of them.